hospital bed. Boom! Sitting up in the hospital bed is a drifter. See him kind of look at his hands. Then he looks up. You see Bethany kind of walk over. She goes, "Did you do it? Did you do it?" And then he kind of rolls out and looks over. In a coma, in another bed, in kind of a very state-of-the-art facility, is Bethany Parks. The real Bethany Parks in this bed. He looks down and goes, "I think so. I think so. I'm going to have to go back in. I'm the only one who can help her from here." Bethany looks at you and goes, "You know what this means. You know that she's not going to survive." And he looks back at her and goes, I know. But it's the only way. It's the only way. Otherwise, they all die, and you know what happens if he wins." Bethany nods. "Okay." And then you see Drifter kind of lay back down in the bed, plug in. You clear your mind successfully. Everything fades away in dust, just whoosh, and you are in a black, unimaginable void. Give me an endurance check.
Endurance.
The sheer magnitude of this void is
11.
Yeah. 11? Okay, you're having a hard time with this. Like, this void is so, like, the pressure of just the absence of anything is starting to, like, you know what I mean? Like, almost like the expanse is so great that it's impossible for you to hold on to yourself. And then you hear the voice again. "Bethany, can you hear me? Stay with me, Bethany. Stay focused. Can you hear me?"
Hello?
When you do this, by the way, you remember all of your adventures with the Drifter now. All of them. They all came back to you. The minute you cleared your mind, they all came back to you in a flood. Every adventure.
Drifter, is it you? Hello?
In a matter of speaking, it's me. Yes. Look. I'm going to try and help you through this. Because you have been hijacked. And been made to be a part of a trap for Drifter. The real Drifter. It's at this point, give me an intelligence check.
Real Drifter. Okay, here we go.
Here we go, indeed. I'm really excited about this.
Oh. A 9.
Okay. Alright. Nothing comes to mind that I would give you information on. But we are going to cut away to the Drifter. Drifter, you are sitting there trying to figure out why this knife wound is so utterly bad. It's paralyzing. It hurts you. Also, the red energy that was coming off you to regenerate when Spencer York was regenerating is not coming off you. And then you see Bethany Parks basically look down at you and goes, "You're trying to figure out why you're dying. Ah, yes. Wonderful. You realize that you're half human. You're not just half human, you're created by humanity. And I hate to tell you, but being someone who is created by humanity, they love to put these little things called contingencies in us. And when they decided to make a god, they decided to make a way to kill you. A very simple and easy way. A blade made of pure copper. That's all it takes. If you stab you, it inhibits the regenerative process. So even though you're in your Mecca, your little house of regeneration, you won't be regenerating, will you?
I'm leaning on the console, bleeding.
You're not on the console. You're on a railing, like on a walkway up to the console.
I kind of I stumble at the console.
You fall. You do not make it. There is no roll. You do not get to the console. You fall. He kind of walks over to the console, kind of walks past you. You're just like all energy is draining out of you. He steps over to the console and he goes, "Were you trying to hit this button?" He hits a button. The TARDIS goes into the time vortex. He kind of looks back at you and goes, "Oh yes, I've spent all this time learning how to pilot it. Now I have a time machine, and I will make my people the greatest people." He looks down and he goes, "Ooh, I can see in your eyes. You don't know how I did it. How am I using Bethany? How did I trick you?" That was truly, truly majesty, because let's face it, even in AI, I couldn't convince you that I'm some backwater nurse from Cleveland. No. The real Bethany is in a coma. I've created a nice little simulation for her. And when I created this body, I created an uplink to her mind. So that's right, I've been letting her sit in and just watching behind the eyes until the time was right to strike. Because of course, Drifter, do you know what the true weakness of any impromptu god is, to quote your friend the broker? Arrogance! I'll answer for you.
You're right. And then I sonic crowbar him at the door, into the door and into the time vortex.
All right, give it a try.
18.
You actually whip up the thing, and it actually hits him. He goes back about half the distance towards the door. The door flops open, but he actually catches himself on the rail and goes, "Oh, that was a close one!" And you realize that the power of the crowbar was kind of synced to you, and you are losing all your power, and now the crowbar kind of like drains out. And he goes, Oh, you see, you have two contingencies. Count them, two with you. The first one is the copper. The second one, I think I'll keep that one to myself. That keeps you from regenerating and becoming, some other sort of thing. And then he starts to walk towards Connor. We're going to switch back to Bethany. Bethany, you hear the Drifter in your head. He goes, "Listen to me. You are part of an elaborate trap. I know that you have the memories now of everything with the Drifter. They conflict with the memories over the past year that you've been living your life. But I can assure you they're both real. Your body has been hijacked by a sentient AI who is right now killing the real Drifter. The only person who can help him, the absolute only person who can help him, is you. Because you are still linked directly to that AI. You have to use that and take your body back from him. The other body. So I want you to attempt to reach out to find him, to find your body, and to bring yourself back."
She's gonna concentrate directly onto the Director. She's gonna try and visualize him to where she can try and pull herself through those thoughts that she's looking for.
Give me a force check.
19.
Okay. You find the AI. The AI is fully engaged in your body and not realizing that his simulation in your head has failed. So you have complete surprise on him. You grab him, you yank him away, and all of a sudden, you're on the TARDIS again. Drifter is in front of you. He is laying there, taking big, deep breaths. The door is open. You can see the time vortex. It is up to you, however. You immediately see the knife wound. And guess what? You're a nurse. So do your nurse thing.
Yes. Okay, so 2, 3, and then I keep the eyes. So 1, 2, 3. And I keep the highest, and that is a 19.
Okay. All right. You run over to him. You're like, "Oh no, the Drifter." You run over to him. Drifter, you see her eyes change. All of a sudden, it's Bethany again. Bethany must be somehow getting control. You don't know how, but she rushes over. You see that his shirt is stabbed. You kind of pull his shirt away, like standard medical kind of behavior, and you can see the knife in his skin. You need to get that knife out.
I'm going to go and use my medical knowledge, and of course I'm going to pull it in the direction I know that's not going to do more harm to him.
Okay, you're going to need to find some sort of like forceps or tweezers. It's in deep enough where you can't quite get your hands in around it.
Okay, so can I use my do a perception to see if I can find something in that
Go
room
for
with
it.
them?
Give me a roll. There are no rules anymore, just rolls.
22.
Okay, 22. You find it. You find like some forceps. Basically what you find is like a tool for holding something for welding. Like not a hemostat, but like something that you could like get in there and kind of run over. When she runs back, Drifter, you see it and your eyes like widen, like, oh no.
I said I was sorry.
Give me an endurance check, Drifter. You don't have to give me any more checks, Beth, as you go in to pull the blade out.
That is going to be 16.
16. Okay, you grab the railing and just clench your teeth as she pulls this like 3-inch blade out of your abdomen that is pure fucking copper. Very rare to see a blade made out of copper. They gotta make it special to kill you. They pull it out and you can actually feel some of the red kind of come in. At the very least, you're able to move again. There is an extreme amount of pain, but the paralytic effects of it kind of allows you to start kind of like moving and working through it. However, I want you to give me an intelligence check as the race against time begins.
23.
You definitely know you're in trouble. You're probably still going to have to regenerate at some point, but you do remember very clearly that the very evil AI told you there's 2 contingencies. You're going to have to figure out how to figure out those contingencies, but you can't leave the time vortex and risk the AI leaving. However, you do come to the realization that this TARDIS has been chasing you around throughout time. It actually probably has been there for almost all of Spencer York's existence. So possibly, if you go back into the records of the TARDIS, you'll be able to find out what this other contingency is, so that you can successfully, potentially not die.
Yeah. Sorry for the door thing, and everything. Next time, just ask for a surgery room, though.
Drifter, we need to get you healed.
It's gonna have to be in the records. I don't think I heal this like you do.
Where do we find the records?
Console? Where's the records?
The console actually brings up a little viewing screen, and basically you kind of get the idea that whatever you ask for, it's going to show you. However, Bethany, I need you to give me an endurance check.
Endurance? 18.
Okay, you manage to maintain control, but you can feel the AI pulling you away from your body again. He's still there, and he's still fighting you really hard.
I'm gonna try and hold on to my consciousness.
Okay.
Can't we just delete this thing?
There's a way. Alright, what do you ask for, Drifter, on the view screen to start?
First is, ID contingencies.
Okay. ID contingencies It kind of goes through. You see, it's kind of cycling through the records. As it cycles through the records, it comes upon one such record, and sure enough, you see a blonde guy, blue eyes, long hair, kind of dressed like a priest, standing there, and he goes, "I don't know if this is truly necessary. This one." You see, he's actually standing with a couple of other people. They're all wearing kind of like, almost like Secret Service outfits. Some of them are in lab coats. One of them's in a lab coat that he's directly talking to. And he goes, "Look, it's from the higher up. We know who you are and what you are. We get that, but we just can't unleash this kind of power. I mean, first of all, we thank you for the technology you've brought us." At this point, you see the missionary kind of look at him and go, yes, and I've broken a lot of rules giving it to you in the first place. He goes, and we appreciate what you're doing for us. Honestly, I don't understand why. And he stops, and he kind of looks around, and he goes, "My people are not going to be around forever. In fact, my people, they're time travelers, but I've looked where I'm not supposed to look. I've looked into the future, and I know what happens to my people. And I know that our knowledge needs to exist, even if we don't. So I have taken it upon myself to move through the stars, trying to find compatible creatures that I can potentially create something new from. The Time Lords won't always be around," the missionary says, "but I want to make it so that there's always somebody around." At this point, he kind of looks at it and goes, "Of course, and the technology you've given us, we will slowly release to the public through many different channels, but we are not okay with releasing something like this, something like you, without some sort of contingency. So this contingency has to be built in." He goes, "Yes, the copper. All right, fair enough. Copper blades it is. It'll be easy enough to get to, but there won't be a lot of weapons made of it. You'll have to specially make it to try and do something with them. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think it's ever going to get to that. Not if we do our jobs correctly." And then he turns around, and you see your parents, young versions of your parents. And he goes, "Isn't that right?" And then they go, "Yeah, we're going to take care of them." You know, and the mother goes, "Yes, he's going to be very important to us." And she touches her stomach. She is already pregnant. But at that point, Bethany, give me an endurance check.
Wonderful!
Jackie's like, "I don't want to play anymore." I don't like where this is going.
Hold on to this thing. There we go.
What? I'm sorry, which roll?
16.
16.
Okay. For just a second, you lose control. Your arm reaches out and grabs Drifter. Drifter, give me a agility check.
Yes, no.
16.
Okay, so you kind of, he catches your throat, you slap it away, and then he reaches, like, Bethany reaches in to punch you, and then it stops again, and Bethany's back. And Bethany, you can hear inside your head, he's like, "Yo, you impossible witch. You realize I'm only getting stronger. I will take more and more. You're on borrowed time. This body and your life is mine."
I ignore it.
Okay.
I'm going to. I'm gonna tap on Bethany. He's like, "Hey, AI, if you're in there, I'm going to make you control a gimmicky light switch for the rest of eternity after this."
Bethany, do you say anything to him? What's Bethany doing right now?
Bethany is sitting and trying to hold her concentration so she can stay with the doctor and stuff and help him as much as possible. But she will be like, "So the Drifter said he's going to alt and delete you."
He goes, I think the Drifter has figured out that he can't do that. Not with you. At this point, Bethany, I want you to give me an intelligence check. And Drifter, what do you ask for? You ask for contingency. What do you ask for next?
Oh, well, he said there were 2 contingencies.
Mm-hmm.
And it said 1.
Yes.
Not the second one.
And it did not say the second one. Maybe the file is listed under something else. You're not sure. Just because he calls them contingencies doesn't mean the second one was considered a contingency by the people who had it there.
Fair.
And my intelligence was 13.
Okay, thank you. I'll get to that in a second.
You're welcome.
Priorities. Like, I need a contingency for this contingency.
It kind of rolls through some footage. It doesn't quite understand what you're asking for, and then it pops up with some more footage of your parents, the mom being kind of injected with a serum behind some glass. You see again the missionary standing there, but this time he's standing with your dad, and the dad looks nervous, and the missionary goes, "Don't worry, we've done all the tests ahead of time. This will not affect him or her during this process." The dad goes, you can't be sure of that." He goes, "We are. I am. We're doing something truly amazing here." And he goes, "Yeah, I know. Doesn't it feel like maybe we're doing something we shouldn't? Like, amazing though it may be. I don't know." He goes, the missionary kind of shakes his head and goes, "It's hard to be the center of greatness. To be the center of something completely new, something that's going to change the universe. I understand that. It doesn't make the responsibility any smaller." And the dad kind of nods and he goes, yeah. And then the missionary grabs him on the shoulder and goes, "We're going to give him a good life. You're going to give him a good life." And at that point, behind the missionary walks in the other Drifter, hands fixed, and goes, "Trust me, I know for certain that once that life has been lived, he's also going to do a lot of great things for a lot of great people." Bethany, your intelligence, you are starting to get a little bit nervous. That you're not exactly sure how this could possibly end with him in your head. You are definitely starting to feel like his powers are getting stronger, and and when he gets strong enough, he's going to be able to take control fully of this body forever.
I'm going to start thinking of ways to get him to remove it to where he's no longer going to be attached to me or at all.
Okay, all right. Give me an endurance check, real quick.
I'm
19.
going to boost. Nope.
What'd you
Never
get?
mind.
19.
Okay, all right. You still lose control, even though your will is really strong. You can feel that his power is just growing by the second. And at this point, Drifter, give me an agility check.
That's a natural 20. 22.
Sweet. All right. You kind of look back just in time as Bethany leaps out of her chair, knocking her chair down, and crashes and goes to crash into you. You dodge to the side. She ends up slamming into the console and falling down to the ground. Then she gets up and brings up a hand to like hit you again. And at that point, it's Bethany's eyes again.
We need to work on this. Computer, I need a device for downloading brain-linked AIs into small boxes.
There is no such device.
large boxes?
There is no such device. Bethany.
So, Bethany wants to know, when he looked up the contingency plan in the council, did she hear this information as well?
Wait, what? Say that question again. I didn't quite hear you.
Bethany, when he was talking to the devices and stuff in the TARDIS, the control panel and stuff, when he was looking up the information through the records, did she overhear this information as well?
Yeah, she heard all of this, without a doubt.
Okay. So Bethany is going to take the copper rod that she pulled out of the Drifter's chest, and she's going to stab herself with it to try to get rid of the AI.
Okay, hold on a second. This is a thing that you are doing, and it is a very hard thing to do. So she walks over and picks up the rod. Drifter, you see her picking up the rod. Give me an intelligence check real quick, because I think Drifter might want to try and stop you.
That's a 6.
Okay. She picks up the copper rod. At this point, Bethany, give me an endurance check. Somebody else wants to stop you.
22.
22. Okay. All right.
I got a natural.
You bring up the copper rod to try and stab yourself, and then a hand comes up and grabs your hand, and you just hear inside your head, "What are you doing? You realize what this means? You die. If I die, you die. You understand that, right?"
But it releases him from you.
He goes, "No, you don't understand." All right, Drifter, you realize what she's doing now. What do you do?
No. There's another way.
She's wrestling with herself to stab herself right now. Basically on the walkway between the console and the door.
Oh, is the door still open?
Oh, it is.
Can I close the door again?
Not without going past them.
I'm gonna try to use my crowbar to throw the rod out of her hands.
Okay. Give me a roll. Agility roll.
18.
Okay. All right. Here's what happens. You run over kind of close to them because that's where you drop the crowbar. You grab the crowbar. You pick it up. You flick it. It hits her hands. The copper goes flying out the door. She kind of rolls a little bit closer to the door, and then she slowly gets up, and you kind of run over to her, I'm guessing.
I look at her eyes.
Oh, they're the bad eyes. Give me an agility check. You hitting and stopping the rod, she was concentrating on trying to stab herself. She lost control.
And that is going to be a 15 on agility.
A 15 on agility? Alright, he's just too fast. He's got you this time. He grabs you by the throat. He slams your head into the railing. He's like, no, not today. Not this bitch. I'm gonna toss you into the frickin' time vortex, and then I'm going to seal her in a little box. And he starts to drag you towards the door, piece by piece, like your blood is running down your face from the hit. You're getting a migraine again. You're fucking hurt. Your wound is hurting. He's dragging you towards it. Bethany, as he gets closer to the door, you get control for the final time. The rod's already been knocked out of the door.
I'm gonna.
Fascinating.
Bethany, I know you're in there.
Last chance. It's been good times, Drifter, and I'm gonna throw myself out the door.
No.
Okay, give me an agility check, Drifter. Told you I was gonna make you guys cry today.
That's gonna be a 15.
Okay, you catch her for just a second. grabbing on the door frame. You actually fall into kind of the time vortex, holding on. She's holding on to you. You guys are both hanging on, and you see Bethany is holding you. You feel this kind of like energy between the two of you as your hands clasp, but her hand starts to slip, and she just looks at you, and she just smiles as you slip, and Bethany falls away into the time vortex. You hear Simon takes over just at the last second, and you just hear the scream from him as he has absorbed and dispersed throughout time forever. They are both evaporated and incinerated and gone. You basically, as that happens, the TARDIS, almost like it was waiting for the invader to be gone, closes the door, pulling yourself in and dropping you on the catwalk alone in solitariness. And it's quiet. You can feel your heart pounding slowly, kind of starting to come to an end. You haven't found the contingency. You haven't found the way to continue life. And all of a sudden, the TARDIS the lights start to dim a little bit, and you see one guitar just sitting next to the chair next to the console, as if to kind of play Spencer York's final song. And for a second, Spencer York returns in your brain. Like, this has been Spencer York's adventure too. His second chance through time and space. And you have a song suddenly in your head. All right. Okay, the song begins to play, and we start to fast forward. We start to go through Spencer's entire life, his entire journey, everything that's brought him here, everything that's taken him here, all of the adventures. We get to see the first Melodian, him regenerating. We get to see him with Marcus, without a soul. We get to see him bring happiness to his life one more time. The dinosaur hut and the uttermilk, the stench of the uttermilk. We remember that. We remember helping the Vikings get final destruction for themselves. We remember the conversations with the broker and all of that. And then it's at that point that all of a sudden the monitor pops up and continues to play, and it plays one last message, and it says genetic defect. And then we just switch back, and we see Spencer York's dad standing with the missionary, and he goes, I don't understand. You're telling me he is going to have to absorb humans? He's going to have to take human life in order to regenerate? He's going, like, what is he, a vampire? Like, I don't want to create a monster. And at that point, the missionary turns around and he goes, no, he is not going to take. He is not going to destroy. He is going to give. These will people who need a second chance. Your son will get a second chance. And that means every time he goes to regenerate the lost souls, he will travel through time and space and help people. And sometimes he will fail. Sometimes he won't be able to save people. But those people, for a special few, he will be able to give them a second chance. The song finishes, the guitar falls from Spencer York's hands, the red light explodes, boom, the walls explode, the vinyl explodes off the walls, everything explodes, fire and sparks everywhere as he begins to regenerate. Who knows how this was happening, and then we flash back to taking a life, taking a willing life, giving a second chance. We see the energy that passed between Bethany's hand and the Drifter's hand while they were hanging in the time vortex, and all of a sudden everything goes dark. And then we see one hand hit the console, and then we see another hand hit the console, and we see Id stand with Bethany Parks' face. Id will return as Bethany Parks as the nurse. This has been ID, a Doctor Who actual play podcast, Season 1. Finale, Spencer York. The production would like to thank Aether Dios for playing the Drifter through all 9 of the first season episodes. We would also like to thank Hope Child for playing Bethany Parks as well as the nurse. And then, of course, this episode was written, edited, directed, and game mastered by Zachariah Van Siders, myself, at oldmangaming.com. Should you wish to check out the game that this was played in, mostly, you can go to itch.io and search single mod in the spacebar. And then, of course, if any of you have listened to the entirety of Season 1, we will return probably next year, maybe even at Christmas, with another season. And we hope to see you then. Whether you come back or not, we thank you 100% from the bottom of our hearts for your support through this episode. And we look forward to bringing more entertainment in the future.